What's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of PBD Live. Just got back from FK2K. We had a good time there. Unfortunately, with the rain and everything, we wound up leaving before it was over. But, we left happy with, we went there we accomplished what we went there for, which was, some new bests. We learned some more on Carlos's car. We really figured out, I really think I know where that car is going to wind up, at least with where it's, set up now. We got a lot more to do on that car. We got like 5 hits on that car, but we'll talk about that car in a little bit. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. Revit Racing, what's up? Steve Mustang 516, how you doing? Thanks again to Eric for the tip. Melvin, what's up from Puerto Rico? How you doing? Jason from 1320 in the house. We're going to be talking about his car today. That's one thing that I put in the title. We've got a bunch of GT500s in the 9s since we last spoke. Jason is one of them. We'll go over all those cars and the combos and show you some pictures of them and some videos on the ones we have, stuff like that. Rob is probably at his house. We'll probably do one of these with Rob soon. I'm not speaking for Rob, but I don't think Rob's like super, into the camera thing, but I'm sure we can do one of these here and there with Rob. What's up, Terry? Oh man, Terry Day brought his new Whipple build that we did with Rare Fab to FK2K, and I believe he won the second. The B class or number 2 class of True Street, which is really cool. Slayton with 150. What's up? What's up, Andrew? Mustang Lifestyle. What's up? Yeah, John. What's up? It's just easy. Just got a full 85 tune on his GT350 from Kyle, and he's loving the increase across the board. That's great to hear. Kyle and Trevor are NA specialists out in Oklahoma City. They're doing some kick-ass stuff. We talked about the NA cars last year. What's up, Brian? How you guys doing? Straight Sketchy. What's up? How you doing? Let's see. Real quick, we've got the new Rob, the Tunemaker Shoemaker hats on the website. There's not too many of them left. We're going to order some more. I think we got like 4 or 5 left. Links in the description if you want to order one. You should be able to order it even if we don't have them in stock. It should say if it's on back order or not. But if you want to order it on back order, I think you can. We'll have them in the next week or two, I would assume. Justin Dean, what's up? We were open for business today. It's 8 o'clock. John, Rob just tuned your Hennessy HPE 700. That's awesome. Yeah, Doug, pretty cool. We're going to come out with a whole bunch of apparel. I don't have it all up on the website. We've already got some stuff that I don't even have up there. For those of you guys that know our normal PBD shirts, we've got those, but we've got them in the suede texture. If you've got a Lethal shirt, they use that newer shirt. It's pretty cool. We've got we originally just got it made up for employees. They're Palm Beach Dyno polo shirts, male polo shirts. A lot of people are asking about those, so we got a bunch of those made up in a few sizes. We'll get all that up. Mike Malloy, our F-150 guy, just clicked off a really killer ET 1050. We'll be talking about his truck soon. Him and me and a lot of all the guys that race down here in South Florida, we'll be talking about us all winter long. All you guys up north that have to sit at home in the cold. Brian Crawford, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Oh, ordered a Hellion sleeper kit. That's kick-ass, man. Well, one of the cars in the thumbnail, I didn't really put it in the title, is CJ's roll car that I posted a little bit of a controversial video about. We'll talk about that for just a minute. I don't want to talk about that too much. And definitely no drama there. I'll discuss it, but I don't want any big drama. So anyway, But anyway, what I was saying was us Florida guys, South Florida especially, we're just now beginning our season. So, you know, I haven't really been running my GT500 that much. I've been busy testing it, but I'm also kind of waiting out the weather just a little bit. Awesome, Mike. That's great to hear. I really, we've got you with the crew cab deal. I mean, that's crazy. You're going crazy fast with that. What's up, Ryan? But we really appreciate you having us tune the truck. We don't, we do a lot of F-150s, but we don't have a ton of real fast drag ones. But I'm glad you're doing that. We've got another guy that was at FL2K with the single cab short bed setup. Also, I believe he has a Whipple too. So Team Whipple for the win. Shelby GT500, what's up? All right, cool. Let's get started. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, I always try to mention whatever shirt I have on. This is Hyper Car Development. This is Josh Stroud. He works with them. I'll show you over here. I got a little video really, really quick. This wasn't really planned, but I was wearing the shirt, so I like to always mention what shirt I'm wearing. I only wear shirts of people I like. Anyway. This is what we work on with Josh Stroud at Hypercar Development. That's the shirt I'm wearing. This is a Gen 2 route that sounds just a little bit different. That's a badass setup there. That is the Gen 2 Raptor with a Coyote swapped into it and a Whipple. They've been working on that setup. We've done I don't know if Josh is in here or not, but we've done like 4 or 5 of those or maybe more, and it's mostly just to get the whole package together. They're doing it turnkey. I mean, obviously they sold it to those people that way, but they haven't really been promoting it big time yet until we get everything worked out. But these things are making like 700 at the wheels, and then you've got the whole Raptor deal, so it's pretty cool. Anyway. Hey Dotsy, we'll take those kind of questions at the end, but 1,000 plus on an 18 Coyote for sure. Jacob Smith, yeah, that I was talking about you. The regular cab one, I'm glad we got it in the low 10s. We got to get that in the 9s as soon as possible. Get it in the 140s. Thanks, Jeff. All right, so first off, I don't know what's Luis talking about. Oh, he's giving Andrew hell on the GT500. Yeah, man, I don't know what kind of car you have, but he has multiple cars, and these kind of cars, they're a little hard to get together at that level. So, he's broken some parts here and there. So it's really easy to be a critic, from the internet, but Andrew runs his stuff. I mean, he runs his stuff hard. Every time I went to Orlando, Andrew was there running something, doing a video on something. So I want to give him a hard time. That's good. Nickel White, what's up? We would probably fly up to Tennessee if you're looking at a map, I guess, because we're further south than you. But yeah, we could do. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for Rob. I used to do that a lot, but I not so much anymore. I don't know. Maybe someday we'll do like a little tour, or we'll do like a deal where we'll go to the biggest cities that we work in. Where you at, Tennessee? Yeah, like I don't know where you're at exactly in Tennessee, but if you're not too far from Bowling Green, maybe we can do like a session in Bowling Green where we come in and get like 10 or 20 people there to come in, and we'll tune them all at the same time. So everybody, can kind of, nobody has to spend a bunch of money on, paying us for that time. Everybody can kind of just chip in maybe. So anyway, so let's talk about Carlos's car. Carlos's is, let's look at some pictures here. That's not the picture I wanted to show you. Hold on. So, you know, I've talked quite a bit about this car already. This is built by Rare Fab. Hold on. Sorry, I'm looking for a better picture. There you go. You couldn't even see a Rare Fab sticker on the whole thing. Anyway, this was built by Rare Fab. This is a project that, you know, our buddy Carlos, we've been working with him on lots of different cars over the last few years, friends of his and everything like that. And, you know, he really wanted to make a run for the 10R80 record. And, you know, this car started out as a Roush blower car, believe it or not. And, yeah, Mike, definitely. I'll talk to Rob tomorrow. Ollie on the 150 throttle body. Yeah, we can talk about that actually. You know, towards the end at the Q&A, I do have something to say about that I might be able to help you with. But anyway, Carlos's car. You know, so this car started out as a Roush car. It went 9s actually with the Roush. Then it switched to an Edelbrock and it went low 9s. Then a ported Edelbrock and it went 850s at the Mod Nats last year. And then we really wanted to go, you know, go further than that could take us. So obviously we went Whipple. So now it's got a new RPG engine. Not the latest and greatest from Whipple. That's how crazy Whipple is. They're so far ahead of the game that we're like one of the fastest Whipples, and we still don't even have the newest stuff because they're constantly. They could gain 50 horsepower today, and they're still trying tomorrow. So that's one thing I love about Whipple. But anyway, you know, this is a really badass setup for sure. One thing about Carlos's car, and I've said this to a lot of people in person, is. It's making a lot more power than I would expect. You know, we touch a lot of these cars, but this car is above and beyond any other car we've touched with the same set of parts. You know, roughly. You know, nothing's exactly the same, but there's definitely something special going on here. And I think that's just a really great combination of the blower and the engine and, you know, possibly the heads. Frankenstein did the heads. We have to give them credit. But anyway, let's watch some videos here. We made both of our best passes in the evening, which is no surprise. So this video here, this is our best pass. So let's back up a little bit. Now that we watched the pass, I'll kind of go over, you know, what went down with the car since the last time we talked about it. We went 840 at PBIR the first time out with the car with the 3.5 pulley. That was, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. And at that point, we had the 10R80 Supercharged record. Then our boy Nick down in Texas with another Whipple setup. Went a little bit lower than us, went 832. So we showed up at FL2K, you know, mostly looking to just run fast. Of course, we wanted to always do good, and we entered True Street. So, you know, I felt really comfortable with the 3.5 pulley, so I didn't really see a point in running that at all at Bradenton. So we immediately put on the 3.25 pulley, and the first pass, I believe it went, I don't have the time slip handy for that. It went, I believe it went 837 at 169. So then at that point, you know, I left really soft on that one. I believe it was a 135 60 foot. So everything felt great. So we decided to leave it alone and just get a little bit more aggressive with the launch, which I did. And we went a 126 60 foot on that one, and it was a 822 at 169. So same trap speed, which is no surprise. Same tune, same, you know, basic setup. The only difference was a more aggressive launch. So we picked up the ET there, 822. So at that point, we decided to go ahead and step down to the 3.0 pulley. So we go on to the next day, and I believe that's this pass here. So, you know, one thing you guys have to remember that, you know, weren't at FL2K and aren't familiar with Florida racing, people that come to FL2K really got familiar with Florida racing this weekend for sure. You know, we're in October, and it was in the 80s and 90s, I think low 90s here and there. Super humid. I mean, we had rain on and off, rain delays, but when it's not raining, it's super humid. It was really, really awful. I mean, especially for October, even for Florida. I mean, it would have been nice to have a little bit better day. But anyway, here's a example of you know, what happened when we tried to really launch the car.
I put Colin in the exact same spot you put him in.
So, you know, it basically, the way I'm launching the car, it just rolls out a little bit because, I mean, it's not optimal. There's lots of things we can work on there to make things launch better. You know, we have ways to launch turbo cars better, and we need ways to launch these Whipple cars better, or any kind of positive displacement blower that we normally foot brake. And I'm working on that. I have a product idea that I've thought about for a long time, and I'm finally going to move forward with that. So it's going to be a little bit easier to launch these things consistently. But anyway, you know, it's really tricky to launch it. You know, I found it best somewhere in the 2000 range, and then just kind of rolling into it, not 100% stabbing it, which on that one, I believe I launched, you know, much higher, like 2400. So we've got a lot to learn on the car. We're only 5 passes in, 5-6 passes in this awful weather. So we're really hoping now, based on what I've seen, I think we can get this thing down into the 7-second zone with this blower without changing a thing. Exactly the way this thing sits, with more tuning and a little bit better weather. I'll tell you what, though, the Whipple intercooler on this thing is phenomenal. I mean, we do have an ice tank on it, but sitting in the lanes and everything, the ice would melt almost fully by the time we would run, no matter how we tried to manage it. So we kind of gave up. And even with hardly any ice, just the cold water, the temps never really got over 100 degrees. So really, really awesome. So anyway, I'm going to show you a couple pictures of the car real quick while I read over the comments. These were taken by Christy at Lethal Performance. Thanks to her for giving us those pictures. I'll probably put some of these up on the website. I'll start putting a lot of these more things up on our Facebook in some sort of like photo albums or something. But I've also got some really cool drone footage that I was hoping to get together for you guys for tonight, but I couldn't do. I could barely get ready for this. There's the man, Rob, the Tunemaker Shoemaker. I'm driving the car, but Rob is tuning it. I mean, I'll say Rob's making the calls on it. We all tune together at Palm Beach Dyno. You know, when you're getting a tune from Rob, he sits right next to me. We don't have our own offices. There's 4 guys in one office, just so you know. It's not real fancy at Palm Beach Dyno. And we're constantly discussing different cars and different ways to do things. So, you know, you're getting a team tune, but Rob's handling the laptop on this car, so I can concentrate on just driving it. It's kind of fun. Induction addiction. What happened with the race with Midnight Performance? That's with CJ's car. Well, we can talk about both of them, really. This car raced Midnight, and we had another car race Midnight. They had very different results. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Let me get caught up on these comments, and then we'll talk about, and then we'll go ahead and we'll go over it. I got a copy of the video right here. We'll show you. Decide. Hey, Ken, I recently got my Hellion TT car tuned by you all and was wondering about fuel. It's a 4-stage 2, and I was wondering what would happen if I were to get a bad batch of E85, safest rating. Typically you're going to, the E85 is just going to enrich the car as the ethanol content gets too low, which, will be fine in most cases. But if it gets too low, then you're going to lose octane. But, honestly, I really wouldn't want to see it go much lower than like E50 without adjusting, or E70 without adjusting the tune. But depending on how much power you're making, you could really even run the car in E50. The tune would just have to be set up for that. Nickel, is it better to flash the converter from idle or stall it up? Looks like you flashed it from idle. I started at idle and I worked my way up. No, it's definitely better to go higher. And the higher I went, the quicker it went. And then I went too high and it spun really bad. Oh, I have another, let me show you one more picture. This is a funny picture. This is from one of the photographers at the end of the track. I zoomed in on it. This hood is very, very, very difficult to drive. I can't see anything. Yeah, Ryan, imagine if we get our 2020s to 61.2s. Maybe someday. That's going to take some time and a lot more power. We'll have to power through them a little bit more. Anyway, as far as flashing the converter, it really, it just depends. You got to experiment. Best way is to start low and work your way up. Eric, the Carlos's car, yes, it has the 20%. It's an overdrive, not underdrive. 20% overdrive with crank support. So overdrive would be a larger crank pulley, and then underdrive would be smaller. You would use a smaller, like on an NA car, if you wanted. That's like an old school trick to run, underrun your water pump and stuff like that to save a few horsepower. What's up, Walter? All right. Anyway, the race with Midnight. So, look. First off, the first race the only race you saw with Carlos in Midnight, he was on a 3.5 pulley, which, that car is fast, but the Midnight car is really, really, really fast. I don't know that people realize how fast these cars are or how much power they're making. I mean, you see some of them, Midnight takes them to the track, but these are definitely well over 170 mile an hour cars. So, Carlos went out there with the 3.5 pulley that we went 167 miles an hour on. So, what do you expect? He left on him pretty good. There's actually a video from behind. Not only did he leave on him, but he was spinning and leaving on him. But that, that's not what that car was built for. That car, Carlos, that's where he comes from. The drag racing thing is new to him. I'm driving it for weight, but he is new to drag racing too, kind of. It's not that he's never drag raced, but he's more of a Mexico kind of guy. And, so he just wanted to get out there and have some fun. So, we didn't expect it to do well. I didn't know he was going out there on that pulley. I would have never let him do it. I would have made him change the pulley at the very least. But anyway, and then, a lot of you guys probably saw the video of that same exact car racing CJ, and it was a much, much different result. And, people are saying he jumped and all this stuff. But I slowed down the video. If anybody in here cares, I'll play it. But I think it was a fair race. I don't really think people understand how hard CJ's car leaves. That car is going to be very, very hard to beat. It just got done and dialed in, and, we're figuring it out. And it's still insanely fast. So, those guys wanted a rematch. We couldn't get it done, but, I told them we'd come to Texas, and we're going to bring a lot more than CJ's car to Texas. we'll make it fun. We'll bring a bunch of cars and just, see what happens. Anyway, the pulley setup on Carlos's car was, it depends on, what patch you're talking about. It's now on a 275, but we never got a clean hit on that. But on the 3.0 was the 811, and that was a 1.2 460 foot, so certainly not a bad 60 foot. But if we get that down in the 120 or 118 range, which I think is possible, we're talking like an 8.0 on the 3.0 pulley. Trap speed would stay the same. Yeah, Walter, you want to go to Texas? Be on Team PBD. We're gonna roll into Texas and really try to, make a good showing. A lot of these guys want to talk smack on the internet. I posted that video. I didn't even go back and look at it because I don't want to get into all those comments. Everybody can watch the video, decide for themselves. But we'll let the cars speak for themselves. Ajum, if you buy a Mustang, I'd be very happy. I really like you. I'd like you even more if you buy a Mustang. Mike Malloy, let's back up a little bit. Sorry. I'll answer some of these questions about Carlos's car. 18 PSI in the rear tires, BJ Fox body. 990s this year. Yeah, I think it's there, especially with how fast you've gone with what you've got. I'd say that's definitely possible. That'd be pretty crazy in that big of a truck. The pulley setup. So 20% overdrive on Carlos's, and we've run everywhere from a 3.5 all the way down to a 2.75. 3.5 was 840. 3.25 was best of 22, and the best on the 3.0 was an 11, but it probably could have been better than that. And then we put the 2.75 on, but we didn't get a clean hit on that. So I actually looked at the weather, trying to figure out a good time for a track rental for this thing. And my GT500. We're going to talk about GT500s here in just a little bit. We got a bunch of cars in the 9s. We got a new best for the top PBD guy. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But so, if you guys got any more, Andrew? Yeah, love to have you on Team PBD. We're gonna roll into Texas, pretty strong, coming from every direction. Yeah, Nickel White, talking about your car, stalling up to 5,500. I'm familiar with your car. Yeah, it's difficult, man. It's the problem on these converters is the design of the 10R80 converter, and you can get them to stall higher, but it's the way that they couple. They couple kind of hard, even if you get them to go up. Terry Day, it looks like you're hooked. Already signed up for Texas. I wanted to talk about your car, Terry. Maybe we'll talk about it on the next one. But Terry's car, I didn't get a chance to get all the time slips together. But his car was built, put together at Rare Fab with a Whipple, tuned by Palm Beach Dyno. Just recently got done on the dyno, made well into the 900 range. I don't know if we tapped 1,000 or not, but I know I saw in the 900 range, and he went 930s in the mid 140s this weekend. Was able to get the win in the second bracket of True Street. Johnny Brady, that would be a blast going. Yeah, anybody that wants to roll into Texas and be part of Team PBD, you're more than welcome. Obviously, we got to get you set up with fair races. I know not everybody on here has a 4-digit horsepower car, and you need more than just 4 digits. Almost, well, not more than 4 digits. They're all 4 digits. But you get what I'm saying. More than 1,000, a lot more. Rare Fab, yeah. Somebody up here just asked about the 10R80. Rare Fab built that. They're doing 10R80s in house. They're working on some new stuff with the 10R80. They got some new stuff with the 10R60, which is in the Explorer ST, and I would assume that's what the 10-speed is in the new Bronco. So really keep an eye out for that stuff. Mike asks, at what horsepower level on the 2020 GT500 should you do a cat delete? I can't really tell you when to do that. That's obviously up to you, but you can't really get much more aggressive than a stock tune with catalytic converters. That's the very first failure point on the car, and if that fails, you can really take your engine out. So that may be the information that you need to make your decision. Alan, all right, I'm going to, Terry Day was 9.3 at 145. Yeah, first pass of the bill. That's awesome. And then through the heat and everything, he was still doing awesome throughout the day. Alan P., Bellevue, Illinois, HPJ Performances installing all the parts from Lethal and PBD, and will be sending my stock file for some race gas magic. What kind of car, Alan, or what setup? Madman Rich has been watching Rare Fab's videos. Nice to see some good mechanics local. Yeah, Carlos's car is a good example of a good shop, great shop. Jimmy's car, which we were the first 7-second overall with the 6R80, was a similar type of build. Rare Fab handled it. All the decision making was done in house between Rare Fab and Palm Beach Dyno, and that car went really fast. Really quickly in progression. We won the Mod Nats 6R80 shootout with that. We're the first in the 7s with that. So Carlos is kind of reminiscent of that. It's a white car, even same color. And it's just been going faster and faster every pass. We just changed pulleys. We've really had zero issues with the car. And, most of that is thanks to Rare Fab. Jeff, Deadspool. There's no updates on Deadspool. I will be bringing Deadspool to Texas, so I'll just leave it at that. But I don't think he's going to the track. Anyway, so let's talk about these GT500s a little bit real quick. For those of you that are familiar with them, we've got, I don't know what the total is now, but only a handful of 9-second GT500s. Our top guy still is this car right here, owned by Don Walsh Jr. of D&D Transmissions up in Michigan. You might know him as a Pro Mod driver, also a multi-time NMRA champ. He just recently went to the track again, and we've really been making some progress on his car overall. This time slip right here seems to be checking off all the boxes. It has a great, not a great, but for a GT500, a great 60 foot, a great trap speed, and a great ET. This overall in GT500 land is the second fastest GT500 behind the Evolution one. And, I believe we can go a lot quicker with this car as things cool off and we learn more. And don't forget, this is a full weight GT500 here. No weight reduction whatsoever. He's running signature wheels all around. It looks like 18-inch on the back, Mickey Thompson's. So that's Don. He's not new into the 9, so he wasn't really a super big part of this conversation, but I wanted to talk about him. Let's see. The first one we'll talk about is going to be the one who barely squeaked into the 9s, but got there. I love this guy. StangMode. He has good videos. I like him. He gives the everyday guy a look at how all this works, and he does a great job representing us. So I appreciate that. He's got, let's see, what has he got on his car? He's got a Kong blower, Kong throttle body. He's got L&M cams. I believe he has signature wheels with 18s in the back. E85. SPE is on board with him. I believe he'll be doing an SPE fuel system in this thing. Has a SPE pulley. SPE even loaned him one of the coolers off their one of their development GT500s just so he could get his car running after he hit the D, or he needed one and they were on back order. So I don't have the time slip handy, but here's his run. That was a $9.99. His car's trapping real good. It's just we're having a couple 60-foot issues with his car, so no big deal there. We'll get that figured out. Obviously, I mean, these were all at the same track rental, same weather and everything at ACO, but it wasn't really that good. You know, this time of year we should have good weather at ACO, and we didn't. I think it was. Let's see. I'm sure Jason is in here. Jason, what you know what was the DA? Wasn't it like 1,500 feet or something like that? Something like that. Yeah, 80 degrees, 1,900 feet, and ACO is not very high of real altitude, so that's pretty much made up just on weather. So anyway, so that's StangMode's pass, and then let's go ahead and talk about who we can talk about next. We'll talk about Jason from 1320. Obviously, he's running a ported blower that he ported himself. He's running his cold air intake, E85. I believe he's on 1300s. He's running SPE pulley. He now has the SPE idler. Unfortunately, I got there late, and we had some belt slip issues, or I think the car would have been even quicker. The SPE auxiliary idler. $40, so you know nobody's going to get rich on that, but it's a great quick bolt on, helps with the belt wrap. I mean, it just can't, it doesn't get easier. So anyway, let's see. Actually, I think that's the second pass. This is not very good quality video. Sorry, I got it from his Facebook. I didn't get a chance to get it at higher quality. I believe this was not the fastest pass. I think this was his fastest pass here. I think those are BC forged wheels. There you go, 971 at 148. Here's the time slip. There's a, let's see, zoom in a little bit just on the time slip. There's a time slip. Not a bad 60 foot, 165, but you saw Donnie's car. We had it 153. So, you know, Jason's right there with Donnie, same trap speed. So, you know, that's probably a 50 pass, a low 50 pass with a little bit better 60 foot. He was seeing some belt slip too on that setup. Anybody that's asking questions right now, I appreciate that. We'll get to some questions here in just a little bit. We're working our way through these GT500s. We're actually almost done. But anyway, back to this time slip right here. 117 in the 8th, 148, almost 149 with some belt slips. So we're picking up 31, maybe 32 out the back. So we're really getting these GT500s figured out. So that's awesome. Now, for last, we've got our buddy Steve. Hold on a second. Iconic GT500. This is his car here. Steve's car, you haven't seen a whole lot about. It's been down because he was kind enough to take his car down for a while and get some clutches put in his vehicle. He didn't need those, but he wanted to kind of stay ahead of the ball game. So we're talking, he has the SSP clutches in his, and the car ran flawlessly as far as that goes. He was finishing up the car at the last minute. It wasn't even 100% right because we were just like struggling. It didn't go on the dyno, but I said, take it to the track anyway. Let's see what happens. It's on the dyno right now. Like literally I was in the middle of tuning it and we found quite a few little issues that I'm surprised it even went this fast with these issues. So now we're clearing them up. I think we're 100% done, real close, and it's probably going to be a lot faster. And this, it wasn't even right. You know, the shifting wasn't right. He, you know, having a couple little issues here and there, and it still was very, very fast. So anyway, here's his engine bay. He's also on Team 1320. He runs our throttle body on that. Jason also runs our throttle body. We'll have a couple more of those soon. And then I think we're going to probably be sold out for a little bit. I'm having some trouble sourcing some parts for those. So if you want one of those throttle bodies, I would get one ordered. He's got 1320 intake. He's running grip tech stuff. He did just put headers on, Cook's headers, and an ice tank. We have an ice tank setup coming. We sold him the ice tank and he figured it out. We can sell you the ice tank. It's a standard S550 ice tank. It does require you to cut off the thing in the bottom of the spare tire well and clearance some things. Any kind of time you're going to do an ice tank in the trunk, it's going to require some cutting anyway. So that's a 7-gallon tank. We may offer a slightly smaller tank that you know, you may not have to do that, but anyway, we've got about 10 of those tanks in stock. Anyway, I thought I had a video of his pass, but I don't know. I don't see it. Anyway, he is now the fastest, highest trap speed GT500, and this pass was not optimal at all. Not a bad pass for sure, but 151 out the back was real nice. I think that's probably due more so to the ice tank and keeping the timing in these things as we turn up the boost, even with the intercooler. Steve does have the Whipple intercooler also, but the ice is still going to help a ton. StangMode, yeah, 980. Coca-Cola, hey man, you know, like that's cool. You don't have to talk to people like that. I'm not even gonna let that show. All right, Jason, great to be on Team PBD. Yeah, good to have you, brother. Yeah, fifth pass on the car ever by Jason. Let me see here real quick. I'm gonna see if I can find. Do we have a video of Steve's pass? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Sorry. Yeah. Here it is. Hold on. Yeah, so really rolled out the back door on that one. So we got a lot of little things to figure out on these cars. A lot of little things. So there's a lot more to come on the GT500 front for sure. We've got our billet lid. Jeff sent me a cool little video. I don't have it handy though. We've got it kind of finalized. Friday is the last time to get in on the introductory pricing. It saves you another $200. We're offering custom anodizing, and we're going to have standard anodizing in clear and black, like our throttle bodies. And we're going to have some standard engraving options. But then we're also going to have custom anodizing, and I think there's like 4 or 5 colors. StangMode's going to get a green one. And we're going to have custom engraving also. So if you need help coming up with the logo, then, you know, I can help you there. Okay, I found the video, I think. Give me a second. Yeah, I got the video here of the lid. Give me just a second. Downloading it now. So this is the stock style lid. We're going to offer it in 2 styles. So here in the back, you can see we went ahead and added 2 boost ports, boost vacuum ports. There is not anywhere to tie into the factory lid to get boost vacuum reference. So, you know, on the return style fuel systems, you can run static pressure, which is what we're doing on Steve's car right now. But if you want to run a boost reference, this makes it easier, or monitor boost or anything like that. So, then on the top here, you've got the spot for the snake plaque and your build plaque. We'll also are going to offer custom plaques that can go in both of those places over time. The factory plaque definitely is easy to take off. The snake plaque is not off your factory lid, so buying a new one is probably a better. All right, Coca-Cola is gone. See you, boy. I don't want anybody here talking shit. He wasn't talking shit. He's just being a dumbass. So guess what? Not here. The delete button is way too easy to use. I use it all the time on Facebook. Ban, filter, snooze. There's way too many people in the world to deal with people that you don't like. Steve, log sent. Yeah. I saw it. I went on Facebook to get your video and I saw the log. We can go over Steve's log. How'd it look? Is it fixed? You don't have to tell me what happened, but anyway. Low to high, getting close to low 9s with the 500s. I think we will, especially in this weather. We still have a lot going on in first gear where we can't get full power, but we're getting there. Javi, I wonder how Evolution got the 500 in the low 9s. You know, it was in a better weather. I think that was in January or February, if I'm not mistaken. And it was also, you know, they were, I don't know exactly their weight, but they had brakes off, you know, these GT500 brakes. I personally have carbon ceramic rotors on my vehicle now, which cut 65 pounds. So that's going to make a big difference at the track. It hasn't been at the track with those yet. But they took those brakes off and I think put more racy brakes on and 17-inch wheels, which nobody can even run on the current Mustang. And I think, you know, they had the ice tank at that point, which Steve has now, and a couple other things, you know. So I think we'll get there. They just got aggressive a lot quicker, I think, than most people, not taking anything away from them. Yeah, low to high. YouTube's smart enough to filter it. He was just calling people stupid for their comments and just being a general idiot. Garage Junkie, what colors for the lid anodizing? We've got, like I said, we got black and clear, which basically makes it look like, you know, pretty much like raw aluminum, except it's not gonna look bad over time because it is anodized. Hold on a second though. I've got the colors right here if I can find them. Yeah, here they are. Hold on. So those are the colors, and the only color we're going to have that's not in there is it's like a lime green, he said, like a 7-Up can maybe. So we're going to get some samples of that. So those are the other colors. That's for anodizing. And that's basically going to be all your choices this go around. I would guess that's orange up there in the upper left. This kind of pinkish color I can't see anybody doing. The purple, I would guess that's what Brett at Jokers is going to do with his blower. I don't know. One of these blues down here at the bottom might look kind of cool on a on a blue car. One cool thing that I didn't show you guys is this. I posted it on Facebook. That's just a forge line wheel sitting in front of my wheel. It looks a little bit weird. But I thought that was pretty cool. This is just a demo wheel that we have for the shop. We're selling forge lines now, and they sent it with that ring, and I was like, wow, that looks really cool next to my car. And that's the cool thing about forge line. You can customize all the color combinations, different ring colors, different wheel colors. They have 2 different styles for the bead lock. So I know they're a little bit more expensive than what you guys are used to paying for, like, say, a set of welds, but they're a lot different than a set of welds. These are monoblock wheels, one piece, cut out of one piece of aluminum. There's not, as much of a chance for them to leak. I don't know. It's just a little bit better of a wheel. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. So for those, that want something a little different, I don't think you're going to see as many people running around on forge lines as you are on welds. Plus, to me, the finishing options really make a big difference. And it's not just welds, all drag wheels, even drag wheels on my own 2011, they're all aluminum with black accents, all of them. So with the forge lines, you can get it as, crazy as you want. John, are all these GT500s still on the factory fuel pumps? Yes, except for Iconic GT500. He has the lethal return style fuel system in his. I believe he was the very first one to do it. And we're still working through that. We figured out one little thing, but that's part of R&D. I help Jared with that stuff all the time. We work together. He's got my damn brand new trailer right now somewhere. I don't even know where he is, wherever Drive Shaft Shop is. So anyway, but yeah, it's going great. I mean, the car is doing great. Obviously it went 151 miles an hour. Third Degree Racing, great job on the GT500 tuning. Thanks, I appreciate that. I really love doing this stuff. It's hard to explain. I'm sure my wife can explain it better than I can, because like when something new like this comes out, I get so obsessed with it that I just, and it's going to last a long time in this car because there's so much potential there that I really want to take this thing to the next level, like much further probably than anybody. I'm sure there's other people that have, had some thoughts like I'm having with these cars, but I mean, I'm talking, I hope to make this a legendary car. We've got a long road ahead of us, but I think we can do some really killer stuff with it. Alex. Congrats to David Van Voris. I forgot how to say his name, sorry. From Texas for breaking the S550 3rd gen. Oh, he went 7/8. Cool. Very cool. That's awesome. I was there, but, I was kind of antisocial this weekend. I stayed in my RV a lot. I was kind of beat. I've been running around so crazy, and I actually took a lot of time to catch up on some sleep, and it was so hot. That's honestly why. If it was a little bit nicer, I would have tried to hang out a little bit more, but I mostly stayed in the RV and watched the live feed on television, which is awful. I'm at a race, but anyway. Aussie Super Snake. Hi, Ken. I am here in Australia. I was just wondering, has anyone used the Whipple Gen 5 on the 2020 GT500? No. Not that you couldn't, but no. Now, you'd probably have to use the Coyote belt drive, and some stuff might be in the way, but a 3.0 would fit. Whipple just wants to go to the 3.8. They think everybody's going to want the 3.8. I do agree with that. And it's close, so they just kind of decided to skip over the 3.0. But you could do it. It would fit. Garage Junkie, the Performance Blue. Yeah, the hard thing on anodizing to keep in mind when you're picking a color is anodizing is like close, but it's not, you can have 10 different people do a red and they might be slightly different because of the way it works. It's not quite like powder coating. So it's a little harder to get perfect color match. So, it's going to look badass either way, I'm sure. Hoodley 50, did I miss the roll race drama? Nah, there was no drama, man. I don't think there was any money races on any of the cars that PBD were involved in. That was just Facebook bragging rights drama. And, you know, we decided, I talked to Gomez directly, and we're going to just settle it all in Texas 2K. I mean, it's great. We have tons of time. You know, what better way to settle an argument over a roll race? Let's plan it out. These roll races always happen like spur of the moment. The one race, CJ and the other car were planning on racing the whole time, but everything else is just kind of like happens at the spur of the moment. We got, 5 months maybe to Texas? So no excuses, right? If we don't show up with some fast cars, then say what you want about us, but let's wait and see what happens. Nick, I got the Houston boys all bent out of shape. I mean, that wasn't my deal. Here's the deal, okay? Let's just talk about this real quick. I posted that video of the CJ deal, and that's not me, right? Like, that's Gomez. He likes doing that stuff, but I felt like when Carlos raced him, he knew that car was going to beat Carlos, and that's all great. And if you want to do the race, that's fine. If you want to post a video, that's fine, maybe. I didn't even like the video. But then to post a picture with the sell it sign on it, when you're not even racing our car that's meant for racing a super badass car that just went 811 at 171 and is about to catch these turbo cars on the track. So, you know, that's another thing to consider. But, you know, when we bring out CJ, it's not even close, you know, and they say he was jumping, which is crazy. I slowed down the video and put the timer on it. And, you know, I mean, it may be like one frame of video, but a frame of video is like, you know, a 30th of a second. So if you're going to argue over a 30th of a second jump on that big of a pull, then you're just, you know, whatever. Anyway, so Lee, if PBD makes it to Texas, please send out info when and where. Yeah, you know, we're definitely coming to Texas 2K for sure. When I say Texas, I mean Texas 2K. We'll just kind of have to see what the schedule says. I'll be there, and I'll be there enough time to race. I will bring my own car. I might bring 2 of them, plus lots of customers. I'm sure CJ will be there. We got a lot of people coming. So it'll be a fun time. I hope there's a lot of other cars there for us to race. Jason, any word on TCM breakout progress? Nah, man. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna get any news on that for just a little bit. I believe, and this is not based on any information whatsoever, it's just being hopeful. I believe the main step forward will come when Tremec hopefully decides to at least somewhat participate in the aftermarket. It's such a complicated setup that, you know, for the hardcore, I mean, I hope Tremec is watching this. If Tremec is watching this, here's the deal. You have a badass American-made DCT transmission. So either, you know, we're going to push these cars well beyond anything you ever imagined. So either, you know, we can do it with your help, or we can rip out all the stock electronics and put a Motec on it like everybody, all the GTR guys do and everything. Or we can do this all with the stock computer like we've always done as Ford guys and all these other people that are spending all these huge amounts of money on Motec. You know, now I love Motec or any other standalone. There's great times for it. If you really, really want to tune your own car, that's probably a better route than the stock computer, than tuning your own car with the stock computer, because the stock computer is less, it's more, it's as a tuning process, The stock computer is a little less scientific and a little bit more feel and experience, because there's no directions on telling you how all the tables relate to each other. A really good stock computer tuner is fighting issues more than tuning, if that makes sense. Shifting issues or throttle body issues or any of those sorts of issues than actually just changing spark, fuel, time, spark and fuel and, launch RPM and stuff like that. That, for a basic, not a basic, but a more racy race car that goes on a standalone, or you go real advanced. I mean, there's like, Fat House is fully integrated, the GT350 with the Motec. That's a great setup, but that's very expensive. So I don't really want to go that route with my GT500, but we need help for the trans. If we don't get help for the trans, we'll just have to rip all that shit out. Juan, Texas is sign up as of today. All right, we'll get signed up. Ryan, did I pass over your car? Shit. I passed over Ryan's car. Sorry, Ryan. Let's talk about Ryan's car. Sorry, I had you in my notes and everything and all these pictures ready. Ryan had these badass pictures here taken of his car recently. We started tuning his car a little bit back, but he's real busy. He doesn't get to the track as often. And he's been to, actually, we got his car figured out at the 8th mile track, and it went 630s in the 8th mile. So we knew what it was going to do. And he took it to the track and did really well. Now, Ryan's car is 100% full weight. He has even the stock front wheels, which who else was rolling on the stock front wheels? I don't know, maybe nobody. But those are heavy, and the car's full weight. He's a bigger guy, actually, so I'm sure he's well into that 3,400 pound range, or 4,400 pound. His car is beautiful, immaculate, and it actually was the car used for the Stainless Works mock-up for their cat back. I haven't heard it in person, and I'm really close to buying it based on just his videos alone. Sounds great. I have an okay video from his brother's cell phone. That was a 972 at 143, 164 60 foot. So not bad at all. This is an awesome time slip for a full weight car, not optimal weather. A great setup. This is a Joker's blower. Let's see. I don't want to forget anybody. I believe Finish Line did some of the work on his car, or all of the work. I'm not sure. Ryan can chime in. He has the Joker's blower, ID 1300s. Do you have headers, Ryan? I think Ryan has headers. What else? JLT, E85. I don't think he has an intercooler. That should be the most of it. I'm sure Ryan can chime in. So Ryan is right there with everybody else in that bulked in at that 970 range. So very, very cool there. Let me go over some of these comments here real quick. Wish Mod Nats would not have canceled. I agree. Mod Nats is always a great race, and it's also nice weather, great track. Lots of reasons to love Mod Nats, and Justin does a great job putting that race together. Garage Junkie. Tremec has never participated in the aftermarket, have they? We're not looking for them to participate necessarily in a hard parts deal. It's on the TCM, the programming. It's not just up to them. It's up to Ford. Also, I think Ford has some hand in that. But, you know, we're not looking for, I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for. We need help. Whether, you know, if they're not gonna help us tune them, they need to release performance TCMs. There's no reason they can't do that. And I heard that they might be doing that, but I don't know if they're gonna be. I don't know. Anyway, Car Culture Nation, they have aftermarket clutches for the GT500. Yes, earlier we showed you Steve, iconic GT500s, 151 mile an hour pass. He has the new SSP clutches. We are a Datsun dealer. We work really closely with Dan at SPE on all kinds of stuff, and he is sending out his clutch to them like today or tomorrow. We'll have that back in a few weeks, and we'll see how that goes. I believe the Datsun clutch is a little bit more aggressive than what Steve has. The nice thing about what Steve has is it went right in with no real drama. Supreme Alpha Male, how about a Motec system exhaust? It's funny. Ken, realistically, how much horsepower do I need for low nines with a manual? Easier with a Whipple or turbo? Low nines with a manual on anything whatsoever is difficult. It just really is. I mean, there's just a handful of them with coyotes and all that. I mean, I believe our fastest Whipple stick shift car now has a turbo 400 and it goes 830s, but he went 950s at like 156, 950s. So that was a Whipple car. Obviously, he had some trouble launching the car. It just really depends on your experience because both of those are going to require finesse, whether it be like so. Obviously, on a turbo car, the finesse is going to come in the shifting and no lift shifting and making sure the turbo stays spooled and shifting it fast, where the Whipple car is going to be challenging to launch. Garage Junkie, going Motec completely changes the car's dynamics. I have no problem with Motec. It's just, you know, there's lots of benefits to it. I guess I'm just being cheap. You know, I already spent so much money on my car. I don't want to spend another $5, $6, $7 grand on Motec stuff when the stock computer does everything I needed to do. All I need to do is adjust some shift stuff. So that sounds like a big price to pay. Then you have to deal with CAN integration. You know, there's companies out there that do this. They've done it. You know, like the GTRs, I believe they have that. Like I said, Fat House has done it, did it on the GT350s. You know, can you run the stock dash with it? Sure. How much time is involved? I don't want to do all that. I'll do that on a race car, but I don't see the point in doing it on a GT500 unless we absolutely have to. So, Ryan. Yeah, Sean's car is what I was thinking of with the stock front wheels. Yeah. I thought there was somebody else too. Nothing wrong with stock front wheels. They're just a little heavy. Trick or treat. Are there upgrades coming this winter for the 1080 cars to make them stronger other than adding clutches? Not that I know of. Well, you know, there's been some people that have added more clutches, and there's been some experimentation with that and further experimentation with that, but nothing else. I mean, that's really what's breaking them. We're not really breaking any hard parts. We just burn them up. Mark, that's what I was thinking. I think that's why Don is faster than you, because those wheels are heavy. Hopefully Mark was, I believe, our first 950 car, maybe. And he's been playing with some mods. He's got some new test port from Jokers. He's got our ice tank in his car also. He had some killer air temps with our ice tank. Him and iconic GT500 both have our ice tank. So, you know, he's going to be getting back to the track very soon. Alex. Yeah, that's what I heard. He says Ford has Tremec tied up under legal contract, and Ford is worried in getting customer claims for breaking DCT transmission. Ford tested the limits of the DCT. While I agree, like, to me, I don't, that's a corporate response for sure, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because we're going to break them one way or another. So why not help them maybe live? If they think that we're going to break them by tuning them, they're wrong. We might, but we're gonna break them no matter what. So wouldn't you rather see cars with your transmission go fast than struggle? That would be my vote. But like I said, even if they don't want to open up Pandora's box by letting us tune them, then give us like 5 or 6 different plug and play boxes that we can choose from with different shift points and pressures or whatever. And I'll pay for it. You know, they'll pay for it. Our customers will pay for it. I'd rather tune it myself, but if you're going to tell me all I can do is slap in a box and it's going to shift better, then I'll do that. Mike, you're not the redhead stepchild. We'll be talking a lot about the Florida cars when this winter rolls around. I want to do a track rental probably in November. So anybody in South Florida area, our customers, obviously, we'd like to do that. We'd do it like a tuning type of deal where probably about 10 cars. And, you know, me, Rob, James will be there. We can also have Kelly from Keltrack come over. Maybe we'll do a rental here. Maybe we'll do a rental over in Bradenton. Switch back and forth to help everybody dial their cars in. Garage Junkie, I'm not an FI chiller guy at all. I'm an ice tank kind of guy. For anybody that wants to know Ryan's setup on the GT500, he just put that in the comments. Pretty much what I said. He also has the Whipple tensioner, VMP throttle body. Paul, need to add some cocktails into these vibes. Believe it or not, I don't really drink. I mean, I used to be a heavy drinker when I was like, you know, younger, but I'm not like a sit down. I never was a sit down, like enjoy myself kind of drinker. I was always like a party drinker. But like, if you said, hey, Ken, you want to drink? I'd be like, nah, like I don't like, I'll drink if I'm to be social, if I'm going to go out and like get a little buzz on, but I don't really enjoy sitting at home drinking. It's not my thing. 901 Soul. Hey, Ken, I have a 2012 GT manual, and I just purchased a Paxton 2200. I currently have a CJ intake. Is it possible that I can keep the CJ with the Paxton, or do I have to switch to the Boss? I believe you can keep it, but you have to, like, I don't think it'll fit as is. I've seen people make intake spacers to raise it up. Personally, I wouldn't mess with it. You don't need it. You only really need large throttle bodies on positive displacement blowers or naturally aspirated. Once you're blowing through the throttle body, like a turbo car or a centrifugal, you don't need a very large throttle body. So you'd save a ton of money just selling it and a lot less hassle, a lot less tuning hassle. So I recommend selling it. Santana, did I mess up buying a 2020 Mustang GT with the MT82 instead of the 10R80? Well, that certainly depends on how you're going to use the vehicle and what you want. But for maximum performance, straight line speed, yes, definitely the 1080 is the way to go. The automatics have been the way to go since 2011. Don't worry, Mike. Nothing's going to happen. I talk to Dustin Whipple every day. We'll take care of you, little guy. It's okay. You cry a lot. We love you, Mike. Nobody's going to drop the ball in your car or your truck. All right. Anybody got any more questions? Got a lot of people in here. Uh-oh, my battery's getting ready to die. So before that happens, I am going to show you a picture of Ryan's car while I change out my battery. All right, there we go. I really need to get a power supply for my camera. That would be very handy. I have all this technology around me. I got a LED light behind the wall, so it looks cool, but a power supply for my camera. Anyway, Jacob's Ride just recently got a 2013 Roush Stage 3 Phase 1 680 car. What would it take to go 680 with the Roush blower? Or 680, 980. A 13 680 car. The issue with the Gen 1 is, you know, once you push that thing much past 700 horsepower, you're really asking for trouble. And, you know, you probably need in that range to get there. So you're tickling a little bit of danger there. You're going to want, obviously, you're going to want E85. You don't need a converter probably, but on a S550 car, you definitely don't need a converter because you can run so much more power and work it. But with the Gen 1, you can't run the power too hard, so a converter might help you get that extra little bit of ET. Most people would say you don't need a converter, but if you're trying to get into that 980 range, you might. But that's the basic setup. You know, E85, throttle body. You probably want, you know, some port work done to the blower and the lower intake. Things like that will really help. Santana, thanks for the feedback. Love your work. Thank you. Appreciate it. Scott Hughes, I have a golden ticket. Would like to get rims with drag radials. What is your suggestion? Also, can I call y'all? Yeah. We've got, we've become a Forge Line dealer. I've got those on my own personal car. We've got a set on order for Austin, who works up front in customer service. And that's what I recommend. They're USA made monoblock wheels. They're badass. We can get them in, you know, pretty much any size and color configuration you want. We're going to be offering those like turnkey, ready to rock. We'll order the wheels take a while. We'll order the wheels. We'll have them shipped to our shop. We'll get the tires mounted for you with everything ready to rock. The lug nuts, put them on a pallet in a crate. Get them, bolt them on, ready to rock. You don't have to worry about getting them mounted and balanced and who's going to touch your nice new fancy wheels. We'll take good care of them. They'll be ready to bolt on before you ever see them. So that's what I would recommend. I would give us a call at 561-571-1173 and ask for Don. He's our wheel specialist. He's our sales manager, but also our wheel guy. Brian, our IMRC is worthwhile deleting on a turbo car. Yeah, in general, you know, a lot of people make comments about they you know, helping torque. The problem is the IMRCs are open most of the time once you get into the throttle. So that's not really true. It's more for idle quality and things like that. So IMRCs you can get rid of on just about anything. Thank you, Jacob's Ride. Thank you, Jacob's Ride. Einer, hello, Ken. Do Flex NA tunes range from whatever octane you have access to? So technically, it can range anywhere from 80. No, I mean typically no. Most Flex tunes, including ours, are flexing on the fuel, not on the octane. That's a real key. That's a good question. A lot of people don't, you know, they immediately equate E85 with high octane fuel, but that's not really what we're flexing on octane. We're flexing the composition of the fuel and the ethanol content of the fuel. So I would never run 87 octane in your Mustang, especially if it has any modifications to it. If you really figure out the difference between 87 octane and 93 octane over the course of the year, it's not a huge amount of money. Barry, limits on the stock exhaust manifolds when running the Hellion Sleeper kit. I don't know. The turbos are an important part there too. With a good turbo, I'd probably start thinking about them much over 1,000. They tell you even higher than that, and I agree with that. You go much higher than that, but you know, once you get into the 1,000 horsepower range, you know, it's easy to say 1,000 horsepower, but 1,000 horsepower is still a lot of horsepower. And if you've never driven 1,000 horsepower on the street, pretty hard to put down depending on what kind of streets you have. Like here, my car on the asphalt here is awful. Like over at FL2K, they're racing on some streets that like we dream of over here. So it just kind of depends. You know, what you really, really want to build. Everybody throws that 1,000 horsepower number around, but that's still a lot of power. Brent, the Whipple throttle body issue. One thing that we have found, it doesn't affect all vehicles, but it has seemingly fixed a lot of vehicles, is a throttle body gasket made out of a very specific material. And it's not the cheapest thing. I mean, it might cost $30 for the material. It's a certain durometer rubber, which durometer means like the hardness of the rubber, and a certain thickness. And we have found, and now first off, this is not my fix. This is actually a fix from the GTR market. What's happening is sometimes, not all cars, is on a heavy vibration situation, the motor will lose contact. The brushes will lose contact in the motor, so it throws a code. So once you add this rubber gasket, it seems to dampen the vibration enough to where you don't have that problem. A lot of people thought the motor was too weak, but they were going through the same thing in the GTR market. And Tony at T1, who also owns one of the owners of Injector Dynamics, actually hooked up some equipment and saw the amperage draw on the motor wasn't even that big when they were having the problem. So he tracked it down to vibration, and that fixed theirs. It was on the GTRs. It was only when they added a billet manifold, and so it transferred a lot more vibration to the throttle body. And the same is going to happen with a Whipple. Got a big chunk of aluminum, big huge throttle body, get some frequencies in there. So as far as the information on that, I don't know. I was thinking about buying some of that material and selling a gasket, but maybe I'll just make a post about it. And just, you can buy this stuff at McMaster Car and cut it out yourself. There's no point in me selling it to you. So I'll make a post about that. I don't have it handy. I have to go look for it. Revit Racing asks, what is the difference between the truck F250 10 or 80? It's actually called a 10R140 because it is rated for more torque. So they're both 10 speeds. They actually have the same gear. I haven't taken one apart, but as far as I know, they're just blown up into everything's just bigger. So it has more torque capacity, but as far as the thoughts of using that in a Mustang, it's much larger, first off, so you'd have to cut the car up most likely. And there's some concern about turning RPM with that particular transmission that we would want to turn in the Coyote market. Somebody earlier asked what we shift Carlos's car at, well above 8,500. So they're turning some RPM. Avi, who do I recommend to buy a TH400 from? I don't deal a lot in that stuff. We usually get them from JPC. They got a nice little swap package that has everything you need to swap most of these cars over. So, we could put together a package like that ourselves, but they do a great job with it. Eric does a great job helping with getting us a good converter. So we don't do a ton of turbo 400s, but that's usually what we use from JPC. Walter, have we seen a reliability difference between 285 or smaller pumps? I'm sure a lot of our customers run 285s. We don't sell a lot of 285s, and I've never run a 285. I don't see a reason to run a 285. The 285 to me comes in play if you want to run two pumps and get that 1,000 horsepower mark. I would feel more comfortable with two 285s. But once you have three pumps, I don't think you need three 285s. 3 275s have always done well. I mean, that's what's in my car and went 182 miles an hour. So I don't really see a point. And the 285s are more expensive. Could have reliability issues. I don't know about that. But I never really use them. Yeah, Scott, stop by. We're open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Our address is on our Facebook if anybody wants to stop by. John, how much money total in parts and labor to get a 2020 GT500 in the 9s roughly? It's hard to put a price on that, man, because there's so many different ways to go about it. Like everybody that's going 9s now has ported blowers, but we went 970 with Lee Dennis's car. Granted, it was in like February, but we went 970s with his, with no cold air intake, no ported throttle body. It was basically E85 pulley, cat delete, resonator delete. Good air. It was very good air. So that mod list is not going to go 9s all the time, but it did go 970s in really good weather. Something like that might be in like a few $1,000 range in parts and a few $1,000s between tuning and install. And, that would get you a car that could go 9s. But then when you compare that to all these monsters that we're building now, like all the cars I talked about today, they're not really going as fast as they should yet. They're impressive, but the 60 foots aren't where they should be. But based on the trap speeds, they should be going like, low 9s or almost 8s at this point. Those cars have a lot more money into them. You're probably talking $10,000 plus worth of parts, especially when you're talking long tube headers and ice tanks and stuff like that. Ported blowers and throttle bodies. Lee didn't have a throttle body back then. We went 970. It's really crazy that we went 970 with what we did back then. But, again, we had great weather. So that only shows you what we're going to pick up when we get that good weather comes back around now that we're going 950s in the bad weather. See, Twin Force Fusion, just a quick hello and thumbs up from the north. What's up? Arnold Hafner, have we tuned any 18 Mustangs with Aldo turbo kits on it? Yeah, we've tuned many of probably any turbo kit you've heard about on Facebook that they've sold more than 3 or 4 of. I'm sure we've tuned it. Yeah, Einer. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. I'm trying. He says, thanks for answering. I was just thinking, as I live in Iceland, where a 91 octane is what is available on 99% of the gas stations, and E85 can access 55-gallon drums. Yeah, switching back and forth between 91 and E85 is fine, with the flex tune. At 87, I wouldn't do. But 91's okay. There's not a lot, but there's a few states in the United States that can only get 91 octane or certain regions. The one, Hulk, 990, what is holding it back? I'm not sure. The car was having a little trouble 60 footing. It's on a very similar tune to the other cars that were there the same day. I think he's only on the 2.7 pulley yet, though. So he's not running as much boost. I can't remember, but he's there. He'll get it. Justin Dean, stock manifold 2020 NA full bolt-on E85 car, shift over 7,500. Yes. Yeah, with a 18 manifold, you're revving it in that 8,000 range. All right, guys, we're doing pretty good here. We're about an hour and a half in. Anybody got any more questions or any more topics you want to hear about, talk about before we wrap things up? As far as what's coming up for Palm Beach Dyno, we've got a lot coming up. I mentioned earlier that we're now a Forge Line dealer. We're going to be supporting them. Again, that's an American, American-made wheels. Like to stand behind American companies if I can. It's not, we deal with companies that use China to manufacture parts. There's parts that are on your car that are made in China. But when we can, we try our best to work with American companies. Mark, you have every bolt on. Yeah. You shouldn't tell anybody that until you go 930s. Then you can tell them what you got. Mark with the GT500, he's got every bolt on his car. Well, you don't have the fuel system yet. What kind of 60 time do I expect to get the GT500 into? I mean, that really depends. It's going to be hard to say because, you know, like a GTR, for instance, they get those down in the 1.2s sometimes, but they're powering their way to the 1.2s with huge power. So you're just kind of getting it rolling and then powering your way to it. It's not the same kind of 1.2 that you're going to get at, say, out of a 10 or 80. You know, that's why they bounce around. Not all of them. They got them figured out a little better than they used to, but they're still a little bit hard to handle, and they're just powering their way to that. So in this current power range of, like, say 1,000, which a lot of them are at, with transmission tuning at full weight, I mean, I would think a low 1.5, mid 1.4 would be like really good at full weight. Once you get them lighter and maybe with more power, I don't see any reason we can't power our way to that 1.2 range. I don't really see a 1.1 coming anytime soon, but you know, as we learn more about them, I mean, there's lots of things that I'm doing in the tune-up or in the decision making on these cars that I stopped to ask myself, like, why doesn't the GTR market handle it this way as far as dealing with the DCT? I don't want to get too much detail, but anyway, you know, so it's just about experimentation. Maybe a lot of those guys didn't try certain things, or maybe things that I'm doing seem to be working, but maybe they would work better a different way. It just takes time. You got a lot of experimentation on stuff like this. Omar C, quick question. Do I know any good Mustang shops that I work with in Northern California? No, we did, but they moved to Dallas, Paramount Speed. I can't really think of anybody in Northern California. If you're in Northern California and I know you, I'm sorry. I can't think of anybody though. For 18 plus 10 or 80 car with Manly, tough rods and diamond pistons, ARP hardware, what would you say is safe to push that engine to? I assume you didn't list sleeves, so no sleeves. You didn't add power adder either. That's going to be a factor. I'll always give at least a 50 horsepower cushion to turbo cars. They're a little easier generally on an engine. Not always. I mean, if it's an engine that has a bad turbo kit on it, that could be worse, but you know, a supercharger takes a little bit more to run typically. So, you know, I still, we do 1,000 horsepower on stock engines. I really wouldn't want to go a whole lot more than that, like 1,100 until you sleeve it. Then once you sleeve it, then, you know, probably go pretty high. Avi, is it safe 13-to-1 compression motor for a supercharger? Yeah, absolutely. Assuming you're going to be running on good fuel. In fact, Brian Wolf, his Godzilla 7.3 Ultra Street car is right around that range on compression. He's got the new Whipple blower for that, and he'll be running soon. What boost level is Carlos's Whipple? It made, on the 3.5, it made 18. On the 3.25, it made like 20-ish. And on the 3.0, like 22. So 811 was 22 pounds, right around there. 22 to 23 pounds. And then we've got the 275 on it. So hopefully make about 25 pounds. Yeah, the GT500s make up a lot after the 60. I just, hopefully we can get them to leave a little harder. That's for sure. I know. What would you had similar or more timing in a tune to run 91 with octane boost than straight 93? No, I would guess that those would be about the same. I mean, that's all you're going to get out of octane boost is a couple points. I mean, they'll promise you 7 points sometimes, but it's more than you might get up to 94, 95, but it's not going to be a significant difference. Not enough to change the tune very much. You know, talking about boost level on Carlos's car, that's something that, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing GT500 with a lot more boost. We're pushing the limits on this stock blower as far as we can. We've got our new billet lid. We've got new porting stuff. But, you know, at a certain point, we're only going to get so much boost out of it. So it will be nice to see what happens when you strap a 3.8 on these things or twin turbos or anything like that. And we'll be doing all that sort of stuff. We're fully committed to the stock blower deal. We work really closely with Jokers and LMT on our throttle body and lid. And, you know, we're buddies with Jason porting the blowers. You know, we're friends with all the porting guys. And there's going to be something for everybody, but it'll be interesting to see what, you know, GT500. Now, I don't think the stock motor is going to take a lot more than the stock blower anyway, as far as power. You know, we're making 1100 on my car. I would think you can put the Whipple at 1100 and maybe you'll do it at less boost, but I mean, I don't know how far you really want to go on the stock blower or stock engine. So, but once we put some they're built, but you know, built for bigger power engines in them, you know, it'll be interesting to see what these things do with 30 to 35 pounds of boost. And we definitely plan on going there. A-Wheeler, what was the trap speed on the 7-second Midnight Performance car? There's two of them. They have two 7-second ones. There was the first one, which had a built motor, and then the stock one, which doesn't. I believe the built one went 175. I'm bringing it up right now. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. We'll look at this real quick. Here is the 6 or 80, 10 or 80 list, which is from the, if you're not in it, you might want it. It's in this group right here. I believe, I'm not even sure who runs this group, to be honest with you. I think maybe Scott. Scott runs the list. So anyway, this is the group here, 6 or 80, 10 or 80 boosted S197, S550. And here's the list. This is 6 or 80. We're not talking about that right at the moment. 10 or 80s. So Vic, Toretto, that's Midnight car. That's a stock motor car, I believe. That went 170, 43. And then, so, you know, looking at Carlos's car, we went 171. The difference is they had a few mile an hour in the eighth, though. So it did work to the eighth. And then, you know, for whatever reason, it just maybe didn't back half quite as good. That's still a good back half, though. What is that? Yeah, 31. Almost 30. So, and then Jesus, 794 at 175. He went 140 in the eighth. So, but right there, a couple spots back, you can see Carlos's time. In fact, it looks like he's the second fastest as far as speed with the 171. But in the eighth, he's like fourth or fifth. So it's back half and really good. We got some work to do in the eighth mile, but we already know that 60 foot's not great. It's actually the worst 60 foot. Where are we at? Nah, Monty right behind them is worse. But anyway, top 7, it's one of the worst. 124 is not bad, though. That's for sure. But we got Keltrack on board. Kelly Aiken was there this weekend helping all his customers, and he was definitely helping us, so that was nice. Luckily, we've got the car really closely dialed in anyway. So, let's see. Where are we at, guys? Let me look at some of these comments. Garage Junkie, would you change a tune running one ethanol versus C85? Not one ethanol R. One ethanol R should be pretty close. S is C, and one ethanol R have a lower, fairly decently lower stoic than pump or like a standard E85. Let me back up a little bit. Bohica Airlines. When tuned on E85 and my local stations are E70, do I need a new tune? No. I wouldn't go much lower than E70. Below that, I would probably ask for a new tune. That should be close enough that it'll adapt. Joshua Ulmer. 2019 Ranger, 2.3 liter, horsepower gains with 93. I don't know if I have a dyno graph up on our website or not for that. We have a local one that we worked on. We actually did E85 on... What was that? I don't even know what that noise was. Oh, I'm hitting my soundboard. Let's see. No, I don't have the dyno graph up, but I have the text here, and it says 40 horsepower and 75 torque. We also did that same vehicle with E85. That was on 93, but we did an XDI pump on E85. J Hunter, 2018 Mustang GT 10R80 Whipple with fuel system 3875 pulley. What kind of horsepower? We said fuel system, but you didn't say what kind of fuel. On 93, any 18 Mustang is going to make right around that 700 mark due to octane limitations on 93. On 85, it'll probably pick up a good 40 or 50 horsepower, I would think, on that same pulley. Maybe more. What's the limit of the closed lid Whipple box on 18 Mustang? We did a back-to-back test on one of our local customers, and the guy I sold my GT500 wheels to, actually, and there was no change at 1,000 horsepower. But much over 1,000, I would probably start thinking about going to an open deal. Most of our customers that are going real fast with the Whipples are switch to the Cobra Jet cold air intake that puts it into the fender. It's a lot of work, though. I would only do that if you're really, really going after it. Would I be able to get away with a Stage 2 Pro Charger doing HPDE without any heating issues? On a 16 PPGT, yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to run much boost, and you definitely would, like, if we're tuning it, it's always best. It's always best, no matter what you're doing with your car, to tell your tuner what your main use is. So many people use cars so differently that, you know, we can come up with a one-size-fits-all tune, and that's where we start. But if you're extremely hard on your vehicle, or you use it in extreme conditions, or you're road racing it, which is not extremely common, you know, if you let us know about that, we can kind of tailor the tune around your use. And, you know, I think we can get it to be fine and not have any heat problems. Santana, what power can I make with a full bolt-on 2020 GT500? You know, with the 85, you can be in the upper 400 range, no problem. A couple have tapped 500 actually on the newer ones, which obviously 2020 is there. Sonic C6 Racing, PBD and RFAB absolutely put it down this weekend, and it was awesome to see. Good to see you, Frank. I wish we didn't have the rain. We could have got better video, but, you know, that's okay. It's going to be a lot faster. I'll let you know if you are available on the track rentals, if you want to come and get some good footage. A-Wheeler, what horsepower level do you go second gear launch with a Whipple and stall converter setup? I only definitely go second gear launch on 10R80s. I still use first gear on my 6R80 going 7s at 182, although I'm probably pushing the limit there. Second gear launch on a 10R80, you know, definitely once you're reaching that towards that 900 plus, probably second gear could become an advantage. You know, 1,000 plus, you're definitely going to have an advantage in second gear. Cool. All right, guys, let's see where we're at here. All right. we got a lot of people in here. Let's get some more questions, some more topics, or we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I need to eat some dinner. We had a long weekend in Texas, in and out of the rain. Although it worked out a lot better than we thought it was going to work out. The forecast was awful. That's why I didn't really bring the GT500. There's a couple of things I was finishing up on it. I'm still finishing up on it. I was hoping to work on it today. That didn't happen. Maybe tomorrow. Santana, I have a 2020 GT500, and which I'm sure all of you have seen because it's on the internet a little too much. But I also have a 2011 twin turbo car that is not very popular every time I post a video of it. So I'll make you guys watch it. Just kidding. But I'll show you what I got here. It's 2011 twin turbo deal. It's been 790 at 182. We'll watch that real quick. All right, there you go. There's my fast car. That car, it's actually not that far from. Oops, hold on. Sorry, it's not that far from being back out. I don't even have time to work on the GT500, which is more important to business. I enjoy the GT500 a lot too. Don't get me wrong, but the red car, nobody cares too much about that car from a business perspective when I post about it. But the GT500. Obviously, it's the hot car. Everybody wants it, so if I got time, that's what I'm working on. But we'll get that back out soon. I'd like to I plan on bringing that to Texas. As you saw from that video, it left really, really soft, and it still went sevens with a 1.40 60 foot. So, we got a lot to go there. In fact, here I got the list up. If you look at this list, obviously, I'm sure a lot of these people are working on newer and better stuff, although, well, not Brett. Brett's moved on. But you got Lund at the top there with the 767. I'm sure they're working on some stuff there. And then Scott Hasty, number 3, actually number 2 on active cars, if you look at it that way, which is pretty cool with a blower. And then I'm all the way down here at number 8 or number 9. Number 8. I spelled my name wrong. Can I change it? No. 792, but it did go 182. Yeah. Actually, I went 182.6 and Lund went 182.5 with their S197, which is fairly similar to my car. Similar turbo kit, I think, still. And similar trap speeds. They got a much better 60 foot. I went 141. They went 142. Yeah, they have the same size turbos as me, 72s. So pretty similar cars. Similar weights. Wow, 10 pounds. Look at that. Look at that rivalry. Anyway, so I'd like to get that car back out soon. I'm hoping for. Now, this engine I'm running on is like 4 years old. It doesn't have a million passes on it, but it's 4 years old. It doesn't have all the newest, latest, and greatest on it. I probably don't want to run much more than 35 pounds. That pass was on 30 pounds. I'll go up to 35 pounds. I've got a new converter to try, a bunch of new things. I've lost another 100 pounds. So I'm hoping for like 750s or better. I'm just not sure when that's going to come out. Paul, let's see. or Ken. I might have Rarefab put headers on my 18 Mustang. I already have a tune on it from PBD. Would it be worth it to have it dyno tuned by you guys? Naturally aspirated, you know, honestly, it just mostly if you want to know the power and verify that the car is making the proper power. As far as the tune goes, probably not a ton of tuning to do there. Paul, well, do I still have Old Blue, the 3-valve? Yes, I do. That is the car that we will be using for the Godzilla swap. We're doing a stick shift 7.3 in that car. We'll be doing a full YouTube series on that. I'm going to try and get all the other guys in the shop involved in this. Rob, James, Kobe, Austin, Don, you know, Mike, all of them. And we're going to be doing that project in the shop, and we're going to try and shoot that this week, start shooting it this week. So keep an eye out to our YouTube channel for like a little separate series on that. I think we're going to call it Project Godzilla or something like that. I kept spelling Godzilla and leaving the D out, and then I decided just to stick with that. All right, guys. $6 race team, got to beat your boss to the 750s. What's your boss run right now? Are you on this? Sometimes I don't know exactly who I'm talking to when you have a name like that. Be curious to know what it's running now. Oh, Kyle. Why don't I know that you're $6 race team? I knew that. Well, put it this way. I'm not in a race to beat anybody to the 750s, but when it's all over, I definitely plan on being the fastest. Eric, what's Carlos' car tipping the scale at? I mean, I'm not really dodging questions there. I don't know. We didn't have time to put it on the scales. We should have put it on the scales at the race. I didn't think about running over them. In the 3,600 pound range, probably. We need to get it on the scales. I'll let you guys know. All right, guys, we're just short of 2 hours into this. I'm going to wrap it up unless anybody has any more questions. Also, like I always say, if you guys have any suggestions on topics you want to hear on this setup, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'm working in interviews into this. We're going to have Kelly from BMR on here. We're going to have Don Walsh Jr. from D&D Transmissions. Dustin Whipple is going to be a guest. I'm sure I can have all kinds of guests. I'm sure we'll have, Rob and Will from the shop and all the guys in the shop. That's not really an interview deal. But, I'm going to try to have more people on here, maybe more of a podcast format. I'm in the middle of moving, so when I move, I'm going to set up a little better setup at my new house, and I can have more people over and do this sort of thing. So anyway, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Like I said, put all the stuff in the comments, like this video, share it with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.